by Riverside.
Well, it is another edition of the A Train Sports Talk, and I'm glad you joined me on a Friday afternoon as we have a lot of ground to cover. That's right, we have a lot of ground to cover, and I am so glad that you can join me. Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you very much, appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot to cover, and we'll be talking a lot of things basketball related. Basketball related. It's gonna be a basketball themed Friday show. So just have a seat on the A train and let's get ready to enjoy the ride because y'all know I normally talk a lot of high school, especially girls basketball, but today we're gonna talk basketball even on the collegiate level. Uh there's one particular individual who has narrowed his recruiting choices down or his choice of schools down to two. Also, just up the road, up north of here, and this is where I want to start with Bethel College because I have reached out to their coach. And if all things work, even though Sunday is going to be a busy day for me, I'm going to have the head men's basketball coach of Bethel College on my show. So we want to start things out because they have been invited to the NAIA tournament. Now, mind you, this comes on the heels of them coming up just short against St. Mary's by the score of 74-78. So we're going to give you the rundown on how that all transpired. The Bethel College men's basketball team fought until the final buzzer, but fell just short in the KCAC championship game, dropping a 78-74 contest to St. Mary on Monday night. The Threshers, making their fourth KCAC title game appearance in the last 5 years, will now await their NAIA national tournament placement, which will be announced Thursday night. That was last night, and they will be going to the dance. So, how did it happen? Well, St. Mary took control early, capitalizing on a strong first half to build a 38-29 lead at halftime. Despite Bethel shooting 55.8% from the field for the game, the Spires held the advantage by forcing 12 Thresher turnovers and converting on 10 3-pointers throughout the night. The late game push, down by 9 points with under 5 minutes to play, Bethel made one final push. Carmelo Yakubu, or Yakubu, led the charge, scoring 22 points and dishing out 6 assists, while also knocking down key free throws late to keep Bethel within reach. Under 20 seconds remaining, Harper Jones delivered a miraculous deep 3-pointer from the volleyball line, banking it in to cut the deficit to 74-71 and send the Thresher crowd into a frenzy. However, St. Mary answered with clutch free throws in the closing seconds, holding off the Bethel rally to claim the KCAC title. So let's take a look inside the numbers here. Bethel shot 55.8% from the field, including 66.7 in the second half. Threshers connected on 8 of 22 from three-point range, 36.4%. Yakubu finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Jonas added 12 points on 4 of 9 shooting from deep. Cade Cottrell chipped in 17 points and 9 rebounds, leading Bethel in the paint. Bethel cut their turnovers down to 12 after struggling early. So what's next? While the loss ends Bethel's KCAC tournament run, their impressive 22-8 season has positioned them for an NAIA national tournament berth. The Threshers will learn their seeding and destination Thursday night as they await the national tournament selection. And I believe I may even have that information at my disposal. I'm going to try to pull that up because I think it is noteworthy. Uh, and just to let you know, their coach, Jason Art Artaz, will be on the show with me on Sunday. We're going to work out. Sunday is going to be a full day for me, but we're going to make things work. He'll be a first time guest. Uh, as the Threshers did make the national tournament for the fifth time in school history and fourth time in last 5 years. Their first round game versus Concordia, Nebraska on March 14th in Baldwin City, Kansas. So those of you who are following Bethel basketball uh, and making want to make travel plans, there you have it. They will be in Baldwin City, Kansas, taking on Concordia, Nebraska. So we want to say once again, congratulations to Bethel College Threshers. Another thing we want to look at, an article that was in the that popped up in my feed, and I think is noteworthy to actually share this because we're also in the midst of what is known as, I can say it, March Madness. There, I said those words. I can also say I believe these teams are ready to rumble. That's right. And I'm gonna try to pull up the bracket because there's been a lot of basketball going on this week. Starting, I believe, maybe Tuesday night. I know Wednesday for sure with Sub State, and man, that's a lot of basketball action, y'all, this week. Boys and girls, all for the purpose of trying to punch their ticket to play in the state tournament and to bring back a trophy in each respective class. But I want to take a look at this particular article here because there has been a talent influx which has made the City League girls basketball as competitive as ever. And you have to realize that to say competitive as ever, you have to look back at some of the history of some of the names that have played, especially on the girls' side. Uh, first thing that comes to mind is Lynette Woodard. That's the standard right there. That's the measuring stick. Lynette Woodard. There's been some others that have come through and blazed some trails. I know one for a fact. She is now, the term they use now is called first lady. I say she is the pastor's wife. Her last name is now Ollie, but she played at Wichita Heights. She was known as Bridget Cheney. Some of y'all may remember that name. Uh, we fast forward. There's Karima Williams, Angela Buckner, just to name a few. These are some names that have left their mark and their footprint on the Wichita City League, which now bring uh we could, if you want to, she just completed her career at Wichita State. Uh, Treasure Joe, for instance, played on some dominant teams. So we look to today and look at this talent influx, which has made the City League as competitive as ever. Like any high school league, the talent in the City League girls basketball scene has ebbed and flowed through the years. It's safe to say Wichita is in the midst of one of its most competitive stretches to date. Heights 18-3, Cape Mount Carmel 16-5. Bishop Carroll, 16-5. And East, you're right. I put emphasis on East. I've had the chance over the last couple of years to see them play a few times. And when you, this is not part of the script. This is what I know for a fact. When you look at the fact that the coach they had last year, Ryan Chandler, stepped down, his daughter, Rylan Chandler, is a fixture on the Mays South girls team. And the fact that they come back, new coach, probably a new philosophy, and they can still go 15-6. They're to be commended for that. Anyway, the aforementioned schools all spent time in the Class 6A or 5A rankings this season. All four teams also won their first playoff games, meaning they will play in a sub-state championship game this week. Can you say that again? Heights, Cape and Mount Carmel, Bishop Carroll, and East all playing this week in a championship game. To do what? To punch their ticket either at Coke Arena or wherever 5A is being played at. That says a lot. What is done as a league is it helped all of us get ready for the postseason. Heights coach Kip Pulliam said, who's also a guest on my podcast the way I used to do it, which means I'm going to have to get him back on again soon because I know he is as excited as ever. And I know he wants to complete. If I can use the wrestling term of one American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, I know that from last year, what they've carried into this year, back into postseason, they want to finish the story. How do I know? Well, listen to this. What is done as a league is it helped all of us get ready for the postseason. Heights coach Kip Pulliam said, we all battled each other for the City League championship, but we're all going to be rooting for each other in the postseason. If we can't win a state title, then I hope someone else in the City League does. And I hope we were able to help make them better and prepare them for that final stretch run because it feels like all of the teams in the City League did a great job helping us get better. In the not so recent past, the City League title is usually decided between two teams with plenty of blowouts along the way. That wasn't the case this season. Heights won the City League title, but lost to a young and scrappy Southeast team in the process. Capon, Carroll, and East all traded wins against each other, while South finished sixth in the league standing, but took almost every team down to the wire. You had to bring it every single night, East coach Will Davis said. If you were a team that struggled with consistency, you weren't going to do very well because every single night you had to bring it because everybody is coming for you. The C League also featured a good mixture of veterans and newcomers who made up the most talented players. Several teams leaned on their seniors like Samaya Ellis, Kennedy Jackson, Kamira Barber, Heaven Gilbert, Zari Walker at Heights, while Capon had Maddie Spear, Ella Rudy, and Phoebe Lawfer. One name that they didn't mention, she's an underclassman. She's a super sophomore, Zoe Franklin Buckner. Carroll had Megan Simon, Lily Martin. East had Halia Davis. I believe she might be the coach's daughter. Southeast had Alana Webb. And they also had Acacia Allen on there too. And South had Mahogany Butler. And I know what they're doing. These are the upperclassmen that they're talking about, the seniors that they're talking about. I just threw in the name of the youngsters because once these players are going and looking at some of these rosters, I can guarantee you some of these teams are going to be around for quite some time. But the influx of young talent is what evened out the competition level in the city league. I knew it was going to be this way before the season even started because I've seen these girls play and watched them grow up since they were little, David said. I saw how everyone was kind of spaced out between the different schools, and I knew it was going to be a really competitive year. Sophomore Zoe Buckner Franklin is a first year star at Capon, where junior McCoy Feister has also excelled. Sophomore Destiny Mays. And see, I puff my chest out when I see that name because she is my neighbor, literally across the street. Was a burgeoning star at Heights before a season ending injury. Carroll has talented underclassmen in Avery McCory and Brooke Stevens. I believe she might be related to Taylor Stevens some type of way. While East leans on a junior heavy roster with Anaya Davis, Anari Smith, Qu- Quincy Gilbert, and Sylvia Selman, with talented freshman Talia Lucas sprinkled in. Meanwhile, Southeast has a promising young core of freshmen, Queen Chalmers, Kamaria Mercy, with sophomore Keisha Allen. South has a pair of skilled freshmen in Demaria Childs and Amari Gary, with junior Valentina Hart also performing well this season. There are so many potential college players scattered across the league and classes, Cape and coach William Ingle said. That made every night a real battle. And I think it really helped the league as a whole. I know the city league is known to be a lot more physical than some of the outside leagues, especially in 5A. We got beat up every night, and that's going to help us play through contact and play at a higher pace when we get to postseason, which tends to be a little slower paced. We played some of the best talent in the state, so we know we can take on anyone now. There's a lot of really good young talent in the city right now, Pulliam said. That's helping make teams viable right away. And young girl basketball players can usually help a lot right away when they're younger compared to the boys' side. So when you have a good group of young girls, it can really help you turn around the program quickly. And there's quite a few in the C League who have done that. After Wednesday's result, there is now a possibility of four different teams reaching the state tournament. Capon at the Peak of Seaman and Carroll at Andover will both be on the road for their sub-state finals on Friday night, while Heights will host Topeka and East will play at Liberal on Saturday. Hopefully, it can just keep getting more and more competitive, Carroll coach Taylor Dugan said. We had to be prepared for every single game, and that's only made us better going into the postseason. I'm definitely glad it's become more competitive. And here's what we're going to do now, because I want you all to be prepared and know where you want to go. So right now, the KSHSAA, or we call it KSHA around here, girls basketball sub-state final schedule, Class 6A, it looks like this. All games are played at higher seed at 5 p.m. on Saturday, and it goes as follows. Number 8, Garden City, 12 and 9, will be at number 1, Derby. Derby is one of those area teams. When they say Wichita and surrounding areas, that would be Derby. And if you haven't seen them play, I really don't want to do this, but ask Wichita North what it was like. Number 7, Topeka, 14-7 at number 2, Wichita Heights, 18-3. Number 6, Manhattan, 14-7 at number 3, Washburn Rural. And we know who's at Washburn Rural. Maddie Vickery, 15-6. Number 5, Wichita East at 15-6 will be at number 4 Liberal, 15-6. Now we're going to take a look at 5A schedule. Same as before. The higher seeds, all games played at higher seed, unless otherwise noted. Number 8, Hutchinson, 15-6 versus, and it says to be determined. I don't have no schedule on that. Number 7, Cape Mount Carmel, 16-5, and number 2, Topeka Seaman, 21-0. Ooh, that's going to be a very monumental task, mountain to climb right there. But if anyone can do it, battle tested, Capen can do it. So we're rooting for Capen in that one. Number 6, Bishop Carroll, 16-5 at number 3, Andover, 20-1. Another game that's going to be a very closely, I believe, closely contested game. Andover is led by the likes of such as Bella Budara, Aaliyah Green, who just recently signed with Butler County. So it's safe to say Butler County is raiding the area and stockpiling some more recruits, looking to make them a national title run. Don't blame them for coming into the area. Number 5, Maize South, another school that I like to try to follow. They will be on the road at number 4, Ark City, 19-2. So the area teams, I'm wishing you nothing but the best of luck. Maize South, like I said, you heard me mention Ryland Chandler, also on that team with Maize South, the catalyst of the team, who I personally think got some good handles, who I believe, I know she's probably getting some JUCO looks, but I think she might be able to get some small college looks as well too. But who knows? She may take the JUCO route and bet on herself. And uh, how am I trying to say this? Bet on herself and better her recruiting stock, and that's none other than Skylar Seals. She was a great guest on my podcast as well too. So I look forward to one day getting her back on here. Uh, Coach Ben Hamilton, one heck of a great coach. You would think that when they lost Ashley Singletary last year, who was the catalyst on that team, you would think, okay, maybe they take a step back, but no. 18-3. Granted, there was, I believe, undefeated at this time last year, but 18-3 to come back 18-3 is just as good as the undefeated season they had until they lost in the championship game last year. They know what it takes to get there because they've been there. They got the good core players back, and they plugged in some new transfers as well too. Like I said earlier when I mentioned this, Ryland Chandler, she's the coach's daughter, so she has knowledge of that game. Then you throw in, as they call her, Allie Singletary. Yes, that is the younger sister of Ashley Singletary, and I believe she has just as deadly of a skill set as Big Sister does. So I look for May South to actually go on the road and knock off Ark City. If any team can do it, they can do it. Why? Because they have that hunger, they have that desire, they have that burning within to know that they got to the championship game, didn't get the result they were looking for, but they're not phased by the moment. How can I say that? All you have to do is look back to what they did last year in the state playoffs. 7-time defending state champion, St. Thomas Aquinas. Who knocks them off? Maize South. So they know what it takes in the biggest moment. So I do not see them being phased one bit going on the road to number 4 Ark City. It should be a good game. Class 4A, number 9, McPherson 10-11 going to number 1 Wellington 20-1. I'm surprised they even have a loss. That team led by Britt Zika, Val Norwood. Do I need to say any more? And there's some more Zika sisters on that team. This Wellington team could be the favorite to win Class 4A. And I don't know what's on the other side of the bracket. But based on what I've seen, this team is on a mission. And I see this team punching their ticket to 4A state playoff championship week. I see them bringing the title back to town of Wellington. And can I say it like this? Anybody listening to me in Wellington, y'all better darn sure have a parade for these girls when they come back. Let school out and have a big old pep rally. No, have a parade. I know what the town of Wellington look like. I know where the school is at. So they can get a route, plan a route, have a parade, let them start at such and such, and let it go back to the school gymnasium and have the school gymnasium packed, show off that 4A trophy. And I know I may be putting the cart before the horse, but this is what Wellington has worked for. You don't ride the backs of two of your perennial 4A superstars in Britt Zika and Val Norwood. No, that's my odds on favorite to win 4A. Number 10, Circle, 10 and 11 at number 2, Bueller, 17 and 4. Number 11, Hugoton, 8 and 13 at number 3, Clay Center, 16 and 5. Number 5, Clearwater, 13 and 8 at number 4, Andale, 14 and 7. Class 3A. And from what I'm seeing right here, it says both finals will be played at Halstead on Friday. So tonight, if you are out and about in the Halstead area and you want to check out some basketball, it's going to be a doubleheader. First, number 11, Marysville, 11 and 11. With an 11 seed will be at number 2, Halstead, 20 and 1, 6 p.m. Number 4, Riley County, 16 and 5 versus number 1, Heston, 21-0. That game will be followed at 7:30. So I'm under the impression that what's going to happen, the winner of these games will be playing for a final spot on tomorrow, punch their ticket to 3A. In Class 2A, same format. Both finals. Oh, these are finals. Both finals will be played at Mountain Ridge on Saturday. Remington, 17 and number 5. Remington, 17 and 5 at number 1, Mountain Ridge, 20 and 2. Number 3, Inman, 18 and 3 versus number 2, Bennington, 19 and 3. And the times will be determined. In Class 1A Division 1, and we're looking at the same. Both finals played at Kenton Galva will be on Friday. Number 6, Colony Crest, who I believe also has a powerful 8-man football program, versus number 2, Flint Hills, 15 and 5. Time will be 6 p.m. Number 4, Madison, 14 and 7 versus number 1, Little River at 19 and 0. That game will be at 7:30. And in Class 1A Division 2, these games will be played at McPherson Central Christian College on Friday. First game starting at 6 o'clock p.m. And it looks like this. Number 4, Hartford, 15 and 5 versus number 1, South Haven, 19 and 1. And then in the 7:30 game, number 3, Hutchinson Central Christian, 17 and 4 versus number 2, Lebo, 19 and 1. That game will be at 7:30 or close to that time. So now what we want to do, we want to take a look at the boys' side. So what we're going to do, we're going to transition into the boys' side. Acacia boys basketball sub-state final schedule look like this. All games played at the higher seed at 7 p.m. Friday, unless otherwise noted. Number 9, Lawrence Free State, 9 and 12 at number 1, Derby, 20 and 1. That game will be at 6 p.m. Number 7, Wichita Southeast, 11 and 10 at number 2, Wichita Heights, 19 and 2. Flip a coin. Which game you want to go to? You want to go to Derby? You want to go to Heights? You want to go to Heights? You want to go to Derby? You want to go to Derby? You want to go to Heights? You get the picture? Pick one. You can't go wrong because you're gonna get some good entertaining basketball. And of course, if you let Coach Brett Flory tell it, and I believe this is how he keeps his team at an even keel. He he keeps his team from looking at their 20-1 record by focusing on the other team. Not the fact that Lawrence Free State is 9-12, but the fact that they have a good coach. They're missing key players, but they can still beat you on any given day. They got to this point not by fluke, but because they played hard to get to this point where they can play for a right to go to state. So yes, Brett, Coach Brett Flory has a way of keeping his players even killed, not getting too caught up in the moment, knowing that you win, you advance. You lose, your season's over. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a packed house out at Derby at the Panther Den. So the best time to get out there, let me see, is right now. Number 7, Wichita Southeast, 11-10 at number 2, Wichita Heights, 19-2. Should be a very entertaining game. Heights is riding a wave of emotion, quite naturally, especially knowing that Coach Joe Hour, after 30 years, get that after 30 years. You know, a lot has happened in 30 years. 30 years. Six, I do believe, if they said it right, 6 state titles. Some of the best coaches in the City League history. And I'm going to throw some names. Anybody remember Bill Heimbar, coached at Wichita South, coached Ricky Ross, and some other good players? Steve Eck, still at it. Coach Joe Hour have to be one of the top, would have to be one of the top 5 coaches of all time out of the City League. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Not only would he be considered one of the top 5 out of the Wichita City League, let me just run it down like this. Who would be one of the top ones? You say Lafayette Norwood? From where? Wichita Heights? Would I be wrong in that assessment? No. And there's been a lot of great coaches come through. You've had coaches like Coach Carl Taylor, rest in peace. Coach Ron Allen, rest in peace. But when you look at top tier, top 5 coaches of all time, I'm gonna say right now, it's gonna start at Wichita Heights with Lafayette Norwood. If you want to throw Charles Goose Dowdy in the mix, by all means, go ahead. But he always ran into Steve Eck. So Steve Eck would have to be one of those top 5 coaches, and he's still going at Cape and Mount Carmel. So Lafayette Norwood, Coach Steve Eck, Coach Joe Hour. Those are 3 of your top 5. Bill Heimbar, Wichita South, who coached Ricky Ross, and they won state titles. There's 4. I'm gonna stop at 4, and those of you who are listening, watching, come up with a 5th one. That would be for people like, say, uh, Bob Lutz, who is Wichita sports guru. So that's my assessment. So yes, Heights is riding a wave of emotion, and I know they want to send Coach Hour out on a good note, and not saying that they don't want to play the best competition. Should they punch their ticket to state? I was always salivating at the mouth because I wanted to see the rematch between Shawnee Mission Northwest and Wichita Heights from last year. However, it's not a given that could happen. But I would darn be willing to see a. It depends on how the brackets is paired up. I wouldn't mind seeing a Derby versus Wichita Heights. Thought it was going to get it at the Dodge City Tournament of Champions. Didn't happen. But there also has been a trend when you talk of Wichita Heights in that Dodge City Tournament of Champions, and it even goes back to the days of Perry Ellis. That tournament was like a kryptonite to Wichita Heights, but it was also the springboard that fueled them to those consecutive state tournaments. Could the same effect happen with Wichita Heights? because I believe that there is a Kansas City Piper team coming out of that Kansas City area that will have to be reckoned with. A team that Derby did knock off to win the Dodge City Tournament of Champions. Like I say, I don't know what's on that side of the bracket, but if that Piper team is in, it could throw things for a doozy. Uh Next, number 6, Junction City, 14-7 at number 3, Washburn Rural, 17-4. That school, they just produce basketball winning programs, girls and boys. Number 5, Mays at number 4, Wichita Northwest. That should be another entertaining game. Mays 15-6 at Wichita Northwest, 16-5. And when you say Mays, you say Alan Hanna. He is like the motor in that engine that's always revving up. There's never a dull moment with him on the court. Some people look at him and look at some of his antics and say he's cocky. I say he's confident and he wants to win. The moment doesn't get too big for him. He's not fazed by hostile crowds. As a matter of fact, he cherishes it. He wants the hostility. He wants y'all to bring the smoke. That's what I can say it. If I had to sum up Alan Hanna based on seeing him, I'm pretty sure he's had to overcome some things in his basketball life. Maybe sometimes people may have told him, "No, you're not built big enough," but he's worked himself up to an athletic person that you have to respect on the court. And he probably still has a chip on his shoulder proving himself. That's the kind of player, if I'm even a college basketball recruit, I don't care if it's junior college, NAIA, NCAA Division two, mid-major Division one, I want a player like him on my team. Plain and simple. I know some people, from what I'm hearing, he is not a fan favorite at Derby. That I have heard. I've seen him when they played the rival game against Maize South. A little bit of jawing back with the Maize South student body. It just brought a different flair to the game. That's why I say he thrives on hostile environments. You can't rattle this kid. That'll be a good game you want to go check out. So I know for a fact these area games right here. You go to Derby, you're gonna get a good game. You go to Wichita Heights, you're gonna get a good game. You go to Northwest, you darn sure gonna get a good game. Number Class 5A, number 16, Goddard Eisenhower, 7-14 at number 8, Andover Central, 13-8. Number 10, Maize South, 12-9. A good friend out there, Coach Joe Jackson, will be at number 2, Cape and Mount Carmel, 18-3. Once again, you heard me mention that coach's name, Coach Steve Eck. Number 6, Hayes, 13-8 at number 3, Andover, 18-3. Number 13, Valley Center, 11-10 at number 5, Topeka West, 13-8. So there you have 5A getting ready to punch their tickets. Class 4A, all games will be played at the higher seed at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Number 8, Circle, 14-7 at number 1, Andale, 18-3. Number 7, Concordia, 14-7 at versus to be determined. Don't have no team on that one. Likewise, to be determined at number 3, Pratt, 16-5. So we haven't got no scores in yet. Number 5, Wellington, 15-6 at number 4, Abilene, 15-6. Abilene, Kansas, home of the White D Ice. 3A, both finals will be played at Halstead on Saturday. So Saturday is going to be a good day to be at Halstead. Number 4, Haven, 19-3 versus number 1, Cheney, 20-1. Know some players on that team. I know they're looking forward to punching their ticket as well. Number 6, Council Grove, 14-7 at number 2, Heston, 19-2. The times will be determined. Number in Class 2A, both finals will be played at Mountain Ridge on Friday. Number 3, El Saline 19-3 at number 2, Salina Sacred Heart 20-0. Wow, how about this? You got two undefeated teams in this bracket. And number 4, Marine Academy 16-6 at number 1, Mountain Ridge 22-0. Those two teams could be on a collision course in Class 2A. Class 1A Division 1, both finals will be played at Canton Galva on Saturday. Number 4, Burden Central 16-4 versus number 1, Opie 19-2, 5 p.m. And number 6, Little River 14-6 versus number 2, Oxford 17-3 at 6:30. Class 1A Division 2, both games will be played at McPherson Central Christian College on Saturday. Number 3, Lebo 12-8 versus number 2, Hartford 14-6. And number 4, South Haven 12-8 versus number 1, McPherson Elira Christian at 17-4. That game will be at 6:30. I have given you a lot, and I still have some more to give you because there is a particular player. But let us transition into that. That's right. A particular player who is looking to make his decision has narrowed his choices down to schools. That would be a particular young man who I've had a chance to see play. His school is Sunrise Christian Academy. Saw him at the Air Capital Hoops Fest. He's listed at 6'7", 6'8", 20, between 205 250, and 215. Listed as a power forward. We're talking about one Noah Gray, who is recently reclassified. And I know some of you are like, okay, what does the reclassification mean? That is a good question. And we're going to come up and give you the answer as best as possible. But Noah Hill, he is a three-star senior recruit. Noah Hill is strongly considering two schools. And I'm pretty sure Wichita State fans is somewhat excited about this. The three-star center, Noah Hill, announced his decision to reclassify to the senior class last week and will heavily consider two schools when making his decision. Noah Hill, a three-star junior recruit who attends Bel Air, Kansas Sunrise Christian, announced last week he will reclassify back into his original class, the class of 2025. Hill initially reclassified down a year after transferring out of Frisco, Texas, Emerson High School during the fall of 2023. He says, I had the option to reclass up, and I found no point in staying in high school if I had offers, Hill said on his decision. I want to go to college, develop, and get a head start. I look at it from a development point of view, and staying in high school was not going to do much for me. Now, as an unsigned senior, Hill says his college decision will come soon. He has heard from schools since reclassing, but views Texas A&M and Wichita State as two schools he is seriously considering. When discussing Texas A&M, Hill says he values how the staff recruits players of his mold and feels he can fit in Buzz Williams' culture and system. He says that they are big on defense and offensive rebounding. Hill said on the Aggies. That is a part of my game. They have a lot of undersized guys like me that play in the front court. They are athletic and can jump like me. They're also dogs who compete. That would be a good match if I decide to choose that school. I like their style of play and how it's aggressive. Playing time and defensive principles are what keep Wichita State in the mix. Hill says he will strongly look at the opportunity for him to receive early minutes playing under Paul Mills. It's a place where I can not only grow, but play and touch the court, Hill said on the Shockers. I could gain college experience while playing. I would not mind red shirting, but why not go to a place where I could play? I went on a visit in November, and I like how Coach Mill runs his defense. Hill says he will choose a school when he personally feels it's the right time to decide and announce. He is now ranked the number 46 center recruit in the national senior class. So I know right now Wichita State fans is keeping their fingers and toes crossed, hoping that they can get a player of this caliber. Like I said, I've seen him play. I've seen that Sunrise program play, and it is unlike any other program you ever want to see. I've seen, like I said, I've seen them play at the Air Capital Hoop Fest that was out at Newman University. It was just a totally different ball game. It was, let's just put it this way, and this is no knock on the high school games I've seen here locally, none whatsoever. But it was like here you see a high school game, it's a high school game. You go see Sunrise play, you're like borderline between high level high school, JUCO, and I wouldn't be surprised with the length and the talent that this Sunrise Christian Academy team have. I wouldn't put it past them to beat some JUCO teams, either with their elite team and or possibly with their postgraduate team. The way that was explained to me, they have a postgraduate team. Those are players that decided, you know what, I don't want to go JUCO route. I want to come back another year and up my stock. It wouldn't put it past me to see a Sunrise Christian beat a JUCO team here in the state of Kansas. Plain and simple. Maybe not a Hutch, maybe not a Butler, but somewhere in that division, there's a victory to be had. Well, that is going to about do it for today's show. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I hope you, as my listening audience, have enjoyed it as well too. I'm about to get out of here, and I'm about to make my way to the gym because I need to get in a workout. Really, I do. I went yesterday, but it wasn't long enough. So I need to make my way to the gym. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Get out and enjoy some high school basketball somewhere. That's right. Today's show is powered by Riverside FM. So once again, get out and enjoy some games. I know I'm gonna get out and enjoy it. If I don't get out today, it's probably because I have some family obligations I need to tend to. But I would definitely pop up at a game tomorrow. Also, I want to show y'all this. My last two guests is just a matter of me getting with my shirt maker. But y'all see, I kept telling y'all that one of these days I'm gonna have my own shirt. I got it. It's right here. This is the hoodie. T-shirts are coming as well too. I got two I know I'm getting made right now as we speak. That will be going out to my last two guests, which was Harper Dunn that was on this past Sunday, along with Addison Wood from campus. So my guests are being lined up once again. Coach from Bethel, he will be on Sunday, and I'm also looking to hear from Pat Strathman, who is also keen on the high school scene. We're definitely going to hash it out with him as well. So once again, thank you for tuning in to the A Train Sports Talk Podcast. Your host and conductor of the state's #1 podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I'm out. God bless.